Every great BeamNG run has one thing in common: precision. Whether it's a crazy skip, a perfect tune, or pure RNG luck, none of it works without flawless control. From the tiniest steering input to the biggest jump, every move matters. And that's why some records get smashed by full seconds, while others stay unbeaten for years. A quick look at one of the forgotten trials shows it perfectly. Freeform mountain crawl. No checkpoints, just a start, a finish, and a giant pile of rocks. Precision plays a huge role here. Every rock is a skill check. Strategic planning and a deep understanding of physics are a must, and yet, after 2 years, only 2 recorded runs exist. It's just too long, hard, and exhausting for most players to even try. But even in the world defined by precision, a few maps stand out, drawing in runners by the hundreds. By the way, quick heads up, my BobSleight map drops soon. If you want to see how it works and get more info, the teaser will be at the end. So today I want to show you a few precision-based maps that are really hard to beat, where just a few thousandths of a second can decide everything, where players spend days or even weeks trying to get close to the world record time. Let's start with a map that's very straightforward in nature. Gear Split Climb. It's a 40-second uphill course featuring a very slow Gavril T-Series as the only vehicle. And as the name suggests, this map is all about perfect timing on gear shifts, smart use of the splitter, and knowing exactly when to turn. This map has only 4 checkpoints, and if everything is done right, it's almost a press-forward map. It's simple on the surface, but most players spend days trying to get that one perfect run. So why is that? First, the map itself. It's uphill, but that changes everything. Understanding how gear shifting works while climbing is crucial. You can shift perfectly and still lose time. The track also starts slightly off-center and pulls to the left, which can ruin your run unless corrected. That tiny steering correction is the difference between a world record and a complete fail. Then there is the splitter. Technically it's simple. Low gear helps preserve torque and keeps your speed on the hills, while high gear provides superior top speed. But it's terrible when you are climbing. But using just one the entire run isn't optimal. Low gear will hold you back overall, and high gear will cause you to lose momentum on climbs. So the real challenge is switching at the perfect time. Finally, you've got the rear and interaxle differentials. This one's easy, just lock them. It slightly helps with traction and keeps your speed up. The current world record is held by Vulp, and it's 72 thousandths faster than the previous one. Let's take a closer look. The run starts with both differentials locked and a track in low gear. Right before the start, Vulp warms up the engine to prepare it for quick shifts and spools up the turbo. In first 3 seconds, plan is easy. Get a launch. By dropping clutch just several frames later, he manages to get an almost perfect start and cleanly shifts into 3rd gear. And even though the track technically supports up to 5th, that's the last gear change we will see in the run. After a short climb in low gear, right before transitioning to the straight section, Vulp switches the splitter to high gear to pick up even more speed. And up to this point, he hasn't even touched the steering wheel, staying laser focused on building momentum. Now, sticking with 3rd gear might sound like a bad idea at first, but after tons of testing, the community figured out that using 4th gear is actually slower. So this run sticks with fixed 3rd gear. And that high gear stays locked in too. The slight speed loss on the next uphills just isn't big enough to justify switching back to low. Near the end, Vulp finally makes a slight steering correction to avoid hitting a steel tree. This part is super important. If the turn is too sharp, you'll lose speed and the run is over. But Vulp nails it. 26.1 is the time, current world record, with perfect shifting, smart splitter use, and clean execution all the way through. Up next is Airfield Showdown, a scenario that was recently removed from the game for some reason. It's a classic drag race, and as you'd expect, it's both short and difficult. But why exactly is it difficult? Mainly because of the road. This race takes place on a dirt airfield, rough, bumpy, and full of little terrain inconsistencies. So finding the perfect line to avoid as much speed loss as possible is key. But doing that while looking for a perfect gear shifts Yeah, easier said than done. There are a couple ways to approach this challenge. One is to just not turn at all, hold your line and hope for the best. It can work, but the problem is that with how bumpy the terrain is, shifting becomes extremely hard. The other option is to slightly adjust your line as you go, steering toward a smoother path. This makes shifting easier and gives you better overall control. And as it turns out, that second option always faster. Let's take a quick look at two world records. One is from the older version of the map, and the other from the newer one. The archived record was held by Wuffeli, a Finnish Trackmania player. Posted 7 years ago, this run shows the classic problem: bumpy terrain and tough control. Runner started from 3rd gear, car almost getting airborne with each bump. But even with all that, runner managed to score the world record with a time of 10.7. The difference between 1st and 3rd place was only 6,000th of a second. Now let's jump to the newer version. This record, held by Raven 107, has stood for nearly 4 years. And it's easy to see why the old version was archived. Newer car, cleaner road, granted it's still bumpy, but way more consistent and more control. Raven focused on perfecting the line, minimizing bumps and terrain loss at every possible point. The result? A blazing 11.5 seconds, only 53 thousandths ahead of a second place. Quick reminder, both of these maps can still be played. BeamNG speedrunning allows using older versions of the game, so this record's still a totally fair game. Let's get to the last and most unreal precision map in BeamNG, Light Runner Argon Curves. This track has two variations, one using player-made cars, and the other using a fixed set of cars provided by the developers. And it's the second one where things get seriously intense. In the past 2 years, the difference between the best runs is just 0.2 seconds. Even more shocking, the gap between 1st and 3rd place is only 300ths. That level of competition is possible thanks to the carpool being locked. Out of the 4 available cars, there is only one that truly dominates, the Hirochi SBR4. It's simply the best when it comes to acceleration, grip and cornering, making it the obvious choice for anyone chasing the record. The map itself is also pretty unique. As the name hints, Argon Curves is packed with angled turns that require extremely precise control. Going just a little too slow through them means you'll lose time from understeering or inefficient exits. Going too fast though often ends with the car flying off the track. Unlike most BeamNG tracks, this one doesn't have random bumps or rough terrain. Instead, it has a smooth road surface with curves lining the edges. Hitting one of those curves, even slightly, can lead to a loss of control. There is also a small jump in the middle. It can be taken at full speed, so it's not difficult by itself. But the real issue is landing. The car has to touch down quickly and cleanly, because in BeamNG, cars don't accelerate in the air. Any extra airtime is wasted time. The current world record is held by Airrock Gaming, with a time of 58.3 seconds. His control through the corners and overall speed management is nearly flawless. The jump section was executed perfectly. He landed on the tilted part of the curb, which helped preserve momentum. However, the turn right after was a mixed blessing. Runner had too much speed, and slowing down beforehand would have been too slow, so he decided to clip the curb to slow down. That nearly cost him to lose control, yet he recovered quickly and drove cleanly to the finish, securing this incredible record. 3 records defined by pure precision, and I bet this is just the beginning. With how fast the BeamNG speedrunning scene is growing, we are bound to see even more close calls and record breakers popping up. About that teaser, in a week or two the first fully working BobSleight map will be out. It's way smoother than it has any right to be, considering it's mostly ice and real physics. Anyway, smash like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.